and welcome back to our Let's Play of Rise and Decline of a Galactic Imperium. This time, turn 7. Now, previously, we were able to change the blockade into a free trade agreement. We improved our status with the Comar Federation. Pirates were somewhere within our galactic arm. We defeated, during the first battle of Sector 6.5, the units sent by the Gigine Republic, and we gave the order to build the first new fleet in our empire, the Third Fleet. Now, as you might well recall, we've entered turn 7. Let's check general status first. As it's turn 7, this means we don't advance the average tech level. Is there a new expedition available? No. Is there a new prestige project available? Not yet. On turn 9 it will be, but not yet. Now, let's check for reinforcements. We add 1 legion every 5th turn. Nope. 1 fleet every 6th one. We did last turn, won't do this turn. Unfortunately, not for quite some time. However, it is turn 7, therefore we can now add a new leader from the board to the units in our homeworld sector. Now, this means we get a new leader, and not one that is to be trifled with. As you can see, he has a command value of 2 and a combat value of 2, so he adds +2 to the combat strength of any fleet of 2 ships that he is added to, which is rather strong actually. If I see this correctly, this is the greatest leader we can get for a long time. The third one is a 0-4, so we can command quite a lot of people, but basically that's about it. So, let's take a short look. Ba-ba-ba-bum. A new leader becomes available to be promoted on the homeworld at turn 7. So yes, we have to promote this guy, so he needs to be raised. Well, damn. At least we now know what we can get him. So, if our first leader should in any way die or have something else happen to him, we can now rest safely in the fact that we can get another one of the dirty bastards. Now, what else is new? Well, for one, our fleet has been finished and therefore is now added to the units in the homeworld sector. As you can see, there it is. Now, reinforcement check is done. Let's go to the current event check. First, we go for the flower power, because that can end. On a 1 to 2. On a d10. Go. 2! Well, that's it for flower power. Now you might wonder why I'm not flipping flower power, but I want to delete it actually. The reason for that is very simple. You see, on the backside of flower power we have jingoism. But however, jingoism seems to be an event of itself, so basically we can't really get jingoism or flower power defeated by this. It just gets removed. Delete. And we roll for the pirates. We can only hope that they disperse. After all, if you remember, there's quite the stag down here, and they can do us much harm. I mean, just look at them. Basically, there are 3 pirate fleets and a 2-3 pirate leader. If they combine all their might in one single attack, they can come up to a combat strength of 8, which is far higher than the 5 we can currently muster. And as you can see on the chart, on +3, that's not very good for us. If you remember correctly, defender / right one. So, yep, it'll hurt most of the time, and it'll hurt really badly sometimes. Wow. So, let's not get to that. Second roll is for pirates. 1d10. Free! Nope, pirate stays. Now, the free trade agreement is not checked because this has already been resolved. However, it will be removed once we reach age 2, but not for now. Anyway, the current event check is done, so we go on to the random event movement. That means this pirate. Let's roll a d10 with the e4. 2. he goes directly to this sector, which would be 8-7. As it doesn't exist, he's taken off the map. Bye bye! Next we move the fleet of pirates, which decides to stay, and 6 move down. Well, if I remember correctly, they can't leave because basically they are pirates. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Yep. Basically, their movement is skipped. So they decide to stay there. Which is good for us, basically. Now, let's go for the directed movement. As we remember, Magician Republic still wants to get their war goal. So, they are moved down to Sector 6-5, which initiates another combat. However, first, as we now go into combat, they can decide if they want to retreat. On a D10, that is 8+, they retreat. Nope, they don't retreat. Do I want to retreat? Well, no. So, there you go. It's them against us. They have a combat strength of 3 because they can only send 1 ship at a time. However, we can send not only our leader, but the 1st and 2nd fleet into combat. And we do so. Oh yes, we do so. As you can see, it's 5 against 3, so he rolls at -10, -2. -10 would be nice. -2. Quite suicidal if you ask me. 5! That's of course for the range, which I just missed. They are at medium range, meaning +1 DRM. So, he gets at -2 +1. 1d10 +1. 5 + 1 is 6, it's 1-1. So basically, they are flipped. And we need to flip a fleet. I think I'll take a 2nd fleet. Unfortunately, this means that combat goes into round 2. Now, this is the first time we had a draw during a combat phase. What does it mean? Let's take a look. According to 12.1.11, if both sides dealt equal damage, the battle goes into a 2nd round. Before this, one side may retreat if it so wishes, and it is possible, starting with the aggressor. So basically, the Jijin get to decide if they want to retreat again. Nope. And I don't wish to retreat either. We now conduct combat as normal. Unfortunately, now his combat strength is 2, and ours has been lowered to 4. Not quite as nice, but it still means from even he goes to 2 -2. Now, has the range changed for this engagement? Let's roll. 3. It's gotten closer. He gets +2 DRM. This isn't really as good as I'd hoped for. 1d10. 7 +2. 9. 1-1. Still equal. Basically, he needs to be eliminated, and I need to flip another fleet. This is not quite as nice as you'd think it would be. So, well, he has lost a ship, I haven't. However, he still has a full combat fleet ready ship, while I have now lost combat strength, and I'm at, well, 3. So he now fight at even strength. This is really bad for us. Let's see if he wants to retreat. Yes! God damn it, yes! He wishes to retreat. He isn't forced to, but wishes to do so. The opponent decides first. If he does, choose target sector, retreats by rolling 1d10 of a random movement axis. This can lead to new combat. So, a random movement axis and 1d10 for the enemy fleet. 9. Well, he can't move to 9, so he'll move again. 1. He moves directly up into Sector 5-5. Well, bastard. This, however, means that our 2 damage fleets stay in Sector 6-5, which really is the best outcome we can get right now. My apologies. Now, as you can see, their random event movement has just finished. Their directed event movement, I'm sorry. Now, after the directed event movement, we come to the roll on the random event table, as we do during every other turn. Now, if you remember correctly, during the current event check of this turn, we had to remove flower power. Unfortunately, that means it can return. Let's hope it doesn't. Oh well. 2d6. 3-2 is a 5. We have a minor event this turn. Let's roll. 5. A Senate Shuffle. We make a Senate check for a single random senator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. The senator for the interior is Senate checked. Let's take a look. Down here. 1d10. 2! He starts to oppose us! The bastard! How dare he? You know, one of these days I should really clean the senator, but you know, fortunately the game doesn't yet give me that option. Kinda sad if you think about it. It's a good thing we have a free market economy. You know, what does that mean? Free market, plus 2 imperial funding, plus DRM to unrest checks, decrease policing value of player legions by 2. Okay, nothing for combat then. Range can be taken away. Free trade agreement was ended. So, that means our minor event has happened and we can go into the stellar phase. Now, let's check for imperial funding. First we start with the current funding, as we did during the previous turns. We have a base imperial funding of 3. We have no trade pact, no treasury support, no oppose. No political standing of 4, nope. No military standing, our tech isn't high enough either. Now, we have a free market economy. That means we are at 5. Is there anything else? Nope. We are at 5 then. 5 is our current imperial funding. 5. Now that means our imperial funding is also at 5. Which is quite good actually, because it means we can repair both fleets right now. You know, truth be told, this is possibly the best outcome we can get, because we can move Fleet 3 this turn not only from Sector 7-4 to 6-5, but then add it to the fleet currently stationed in 6-5. Basically, it means we can bring up our complete strength from currently 3 to 7 once we repaired the fleets. Not that it still isn't enough for the pirates, but then again, for a long time there won't be much we can do about that. Now, the funding has been determined. So let's take our stellar actions. First, I'll determine that we'll take 2 off because we repair those fleets. They are in a sector under Imperial control, so we can do that. I'll take another 1 off because we move the 3rd fleet to Sector 6-5. And we can do that because the first leader has a leadership value of 3, so we can lead 3 fleets. The 1st, 2nd and 3rd fleet. And a glorious day it was to be had by everyone. Now I could have taken one of these legions with me to this sector. You know, actually... yeah, let's do that. Let's take the 4th Legion to Sector 6-5. You never know who might be with you. Now, I think we'll better place that one there. After all, a planet where one of our legions is standing always means that, well, it's under our control, isn't it? No. Anyway. As you can see, Sector 6-5 is now maybe one of the greatest and strongest sectors we have, even stronger than the Imperial sector. After all, even our homeworld only has 1 legion and a leader ready to be promoted at the academy. Now, We still have 2 points of Imperial funding. What are we going to do with those? We use one to activate this sector. We can't activate the homeworld sector again, remember that. And move them to 5-5 in the hopes of completely destroying the enemy this turn. Now what would happen if that would be the point? Let's see. If the war goal is no longer achievable, roll on peace negotiations table. Player may honor or dishonor a peace offer from invader. Okay. Now, I don't think I'll do that right now. I don't... what can we get from that? There it is. Peace negotiations. War goal achieved? No. Undecided would be currently. If invasion troops destroyed, offers white peace, tribute, or surrender. Surrender. And this includes tribute costs 3 victory points. Oh, we would get 3 victory points and tribute. Well... we could do it and then move the fleet further in, basically expanding at the same time, but I really wanted to try for this project. Not to mention that we need to upgrade our current tech level, because it'll be raised in 2 turns, and I think on tech level 3 we'll get the command nexus, won't we? Yep. No, this is kind of a difficult decision. We can't do both, of course, but we could do both next turn. No, let's wait for it. Basically, let's end the stellar phase right now. We'll get into the political phase. So, first we check the Senate. As you might remember, Senate check, 1d10. 3. The Senator for the Interior still decides to hate us. Now for the Senator of War. 3. He decides to join the Senator for the Interior. Well, great. 3. And the Foreign Relations Senator also decides that he doesn't like us. Isn't that great? And if you ask me, the answer is no, but hey, it's just me. It'll most likely mean more unrest this turn. Great. Especially with the +2 unrest checks. Now, let's check diplomacy. Flower power is done, so that means that we can now worsen our current relationships. But you really hope won't happen. Not now. 2. Relations worsen. Oh gods. Please let it be 2 or 5+. Yes! Well, our relations with the Georgian Republic cannot be worsened any worse, but it seems they really, really hate our guts. So basically nothing happens. Thank gods. Well, I wonder, is this correct? Or am I cheating? Diplomatic status. You know, actually, it doesn't say anywhere. Interesting. Let's just go with nothing happens. Now, that means that we have done the diplomacy check. After diplomacy comes the check for standing. We start with political standing, of course. Unfortunately, this time it won't be going as nice as for us as it might usually. Political is 2, 1, 0, 1, and with an enemy fleet in 600 rule 0. Yep, our current stability is at 0. Basically, we are unstable. Very, very unstable. Well done. Now, that means we make an unrest check. You might remember, unrest and revolt. Let's make a roll against our political standing first. Against political standing, 2. Yes, well, it succeeds. It always succeeds. Basically, the roll is pointless. Now, let's see where it happens. 6 and 6. Sector 6-6. This one, on the eastern rim. Now, what happens? Don't forget, right now, we are a free market economy. Basically, +2 DRM to unrest checks. This can really hurt us right now. Especially if it means that they can get rebel legions. Now, let's see, 1d6. 6 plus 2. Add 2 rebel legions. Yes, as you can see, that means that rebels, or basically independent troops, have decided that they really need to stay there. Ah, well, it works. So yeah. 2 rebel legions are currently in control of Sector 6.6. Well, there's something we can do against. Once we get another legion up and running, and damn. Well, next is military standing. Our current military standing would be 2 minus 1 is 1. Per war is 2. Then no. 1, 2 is 1. We can be lucky that no enemy legions are currently controlling any planets in our systems. Basically, our military standing is at 1. Well, if we roll a 1 on the d6 for this check, there's no piracy. Lucky us in. At least this time. So, there you have it. No piracy. Next we go into the political action. Now, as I told you before, I'm right now going, because there's nothing I can change up here, I'm now going to try to advance our Imperial tech level. Now, our target tech level is level 3. And 3 can only be achieved, level 3, if we have a target difficulty of 3. So we have to roll a 3 plus on a d10. First, move the Imperial funding marker to 1, and you roll a d10. 4! Haha, success! That of course means that the command nexus is now available. Now something happens which, as I've tried to tell you last turn, will become very important during the next few turns. You see, we have now, if this somehow is sabotaged or basically stops and returns to the stack, we have now 2 projects available. Now, soon we'll also get the Institute of Futurism. If we are starting another project, we need to determine at random which of the currently available projects are started. Of course, the Babylon project can only be started once we have a fleet in Sector 2-2, but that won't happen for some time right now. Anyway, this also means that sometimes we'll get the prestige project we want, and sometimes we don't. There's nothing bad about it, just sometimes how it happens. It also means that we can now start the Precursor Ruins expedition. Though, I'm not sure, can we have a expedition and a prestige project at the same time? Prestige project. Well, seems like we can, but why would we want to? If we invest, we need to do something about it, and it won't go onwards by itself. So basically, the final point of Imperial funding this turn is invested into the project, the energy exchange. After all, if it succeeds, we get a permanent new point of funding. So let's get to it. We roll 2d6. Since I have not added any more funding, that's about it. 10! Well, ha ha! The project succeeds and goes on to step 2. Now, as you can see, during step 3, it needs a 10 plus on 2d6. That means if with our current roll we would have succeeded. Unfortunately, it means that it's also so advanced that we have to somehow get or give money to them. Because most likely, if we don't invest additional Imperial funding, we won't reach a 10 plus with our next roll. I can almost guarantee you that. At least if that's the experience I have made. Now, that also means that we as players right now have ended the political phase. Now let's check for game end. Nope. Next we check for scoring. We are at turn 7, nothing is scored. That means we don't advance the age, but we advance the turn marker. And we advance it to turn 8. And I'll see all of you next time when turn 8 is on the track. Next time on Rise and Decline of a Galactic Imperium.